Hello and welcome to the Buckets and Tea NBA show. I'm your host, Cathryn Naiker. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode. Joining me, you know him, you love him. He's my twin. If you are watching on YouTube, it's Samson Folk. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. A little warm because I was actually going to wear a t-shirt, but at your behest, I switched into the WNBA hoodie.
Listen, today they announced Toronto is officially getting a WNBA team. Full disclosure, I also had a t-shirt on earlier today, and then I thought for this podcast, we got to dress up. So I did ask Samson to change. Which is very ridiculous of me. Look, like I've had a very busy morning. You know, my hair's in a bun, didn't even get the chance to style it or anything like that. But, you know, here we are. Usually I'm like fluffing my hair around the headphones just so.
That's true. Curly hair, it's powerful, but sometimes it puts you in like, this is a lot. And it's everywhere.
Yeah, hats are a challenge.
Yeah, no kidding. A leg has locks, and it's always tough for him to find, like, especially fitted caps that fit, you know, where his head is at with the locks growing. But I did want to say, I was lucky enough to be co-hosting the Raptors show when Shireen broke the news back then in March that Toronto was kind of in the situation, and then got to talk to her the morning of. And then I get to talk to you the morning that actually gets announced. So pretty cool.
Very cool. And shout out to Shireen for being able to break this news. Like, really, really great stuff. Just before we started recording, apparently, like ESPN on Twitter released this thing called multiple reports say, and that Shireen retweeted that, like multiple reports. It's my exclusive report. But yeah, so excited. Do you have any initial thoughts on the Toronto getting a WNBA team before we get into our NBA stuff?
Very cool. I think the demand is here for it. I think it makes sense as a place for a WNBA team to be. 2 sold-out preseason games across Canada. All the merch sells out. I'm sure they have a bunch of economic points and indicators. Shireen wrote a little bit about this way back when. I haven't fully dove into the piece at this point in time. I wake up late. I'm a schlub. I start recording with you. I'm sure there are economic markers that the WNBA wants to see met. And I assume Toronto will be meeting most of those, if not all. So the only other thing I saw was that, like, maybe the arena is up in the air, kind of how it's going to go there, just because of how much seating. But, I mean, hell yeah. This is – the WNBA is a growing league. The best couple years of its lifetime. A bunch of big players.
Absolutely.
A bunch of big players coming into the league. Women's basketball as a whole is growing a lot faster. I think it makes sense for Toronto to like capitalize on it from that point of view anyway.
Yeah, I completely agree. Freddie Rivas and I recorded an emergency podcast for the Pickup WNBA pod. We had Chelsea Late join us this morning, so check that out where we deep dive into all of that. But we'll keep it about the NBA on this one because that's what this show does, minus our hoodies and our twinning, which we are going to sweat through for the duration of this podcast. I live in this building where like I don't control like the heat, like they turn on the heat, and it's like so hot in here sometimes, especially because we've had like a really hot winter. That like I've barely been able to wear a hoodie in the house. Is that your space heater?
My space heater, because we don't control in the basement. We don't control the temperature either. So during the winter,
it's freezing.
Like, it's cold. So yeah, I got a space heater.
Yeah. We have opposite issues. Yeah. Okay. Gosh.
Isn't that just us? Oh.
Honestly, I'm like, wait, there's an NBA? Like the whole first few hours of my morning has just been about the WNBA. Actually, real quick, Samson, I wanted to, before all this news broke, I wanted to congratulate you on this marathon that you did. Do you want to tell everybody about that?
Oh, I did a marathon. That's it.
Come on, stop it.
My knees started bruising. No, like non-contact bruising because all the blood vessels broke in them. It was really difficult, but I wanted to do a marathon before I died. and that might be soon. So I figured, might as well do it now.
Okay, Jesus.
Yeah, I did a marathon. It was I'm glad I did it. Never again. It's such bullshit.
Well, how? Tell why?
You just run. That's how I knew, because I only trained for 3 weeks. I was like, yeah, I can do a marathon. And I was like, you just run. And that is both what makes it easy and what makes it hard, because you run for 42 kilometers. It was
gosh.
It was a lot. But yeah, I did one. There's a big medal. It's a beautiful medal. It has the Toronto skyline in front of it. It's cool.
Yeah. Did you win, or was that like a participation medal?
No, the person who won was like at least an hour and a half faster than me. At least. Yeah, no, it was like, there are people who are very good at marathons. I trained for 3 weeks. I'm a schlub. I just wanted to say I'd done it.
Schlub.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be impressed if I could run like 1 kilometer, honestly.
You could run 1 kilometer.
I don't know. I think like I can run 1 kilometer if I'm like catching a bus and it's just in front of me.
This
then I can run a kilometer. Yeah.
My friend and I, we have long talked about this as like the bus, getting to the bus is one of the ultimate, do you have that dog in you barometer?
Yes.
Can you fight with the power of will
to
get to the bus before those doors close? Are you going to, you look silly, especially me. I always got a backpack on. Your backpack's bouncing up and down across your back. You look like a turtle. Are you willing to look silly, to sprint? Maybe you make it to the bus. Maybe you don't. Do you have it in you to take the risk?
Yeah, I mean, this is facts. Like, I grew up in Mississauga, and I had to commute all the way to Pape and Danforth because I went to Centennial College. So it was like a bus to Islington Station and then the subway from Islington all the way to Pape. And it was like an hour and a half journey. And it's like, if I didn't catch that one bus, I was late, So that was my whole journey. And Samson, I'm so, God, I hate aging myself, but like I'm so old that I fucking had a Discman, like a CD Discman, and I would run for the bus and the CD would be skipping, and like it was like a disaster. You had to commit to like an album because I wasn't gonna like travel with like a bunch of CDs.
Mm-hmm. Some people did. They had their little case zipped open, had the like leaflets
on the subway. That was car life.
Well, sure, but I mean, I took it on bus rides when I was a kid. I had a Discman. That's not so much like of my time.
You had a Discman?
Well, it's not so much that I was of my time. It's that like Discmans were so cheap by then. My parents were like, "You'll get this." And
but that still makes me feel better about life. Generally.
Here's like the 20 greatest drinking songs CD that my dad had in the van. You can listen. You can listen to this on the bus. All the other kids are listening to like whatever's popular. I'm listening to Great Big Sea or something.
I was gonna say, what were your dad's CDs?
That was like,
and then you're just like, well, I guess this is growing up. See, I actually know a Great Big Sea song. Very versatile.
Way, hey, and away we go. Donkey riding. Way, hey, and away we go. Riding on a donkey.
All right. Well,
anyway, this
is officially a banter pod. We haven't talked about basketball at all. All right. We'll try and switch gears here, but I love learning all of that. See, and I guarantee you, all the listeners love learning all of that about you too.
I hate when you say this. You do this every episode.
Well, here's the thing, because whenever we have like a Raptors Republic event, I have people come up to me and they'll say like, I really like your podcast. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. And they're like, yeah, I listen to it when Samson's on. So there's like a whole subsect of Raptors Republic listeners who only listen when you are on. Basketball. I don't actually check the numbers. I'm just taking this on like, I'm taking this at face value.
Honestly, let's talk about Nikola Jokic, his third MVP, and the current series against Minnesota. They're down 0-2. Do you think they can win on the road, Cathryn?
Samson's reading my itinerary to him. Honestly, I forgot if I swear on this podcast. Yeah. I think they fucked it up. I think they fucked it up by not winning at home. I think this is an abject disaster for this team. I'm genuinely shocked. I know that's not cool to say. I know a lot of people online will be like, I saw Minnesota coming and blah, 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 and good for you. I didn't. Not that I didn't think they were a very good team. I just didn't think they'd be rolling over Denver this easily. For them to lose a game and Rudy Gobert isn't even in the game, it's inexcusable. And you could see them flustered. You can see, Jamal Murray throwing his what was it?
Heat pack.
Yeah, heat pack on the court. Like Mike Malone was like attempting to get ejected like early in the first quarter.
He needs an earring, Mike Malone. One earring. I feel like you really put his whole look together.
Like the Kyrie Irving one, like that long.
A dangle. Yeah.
A dangle.
I think he could use a dangle earring.
He has this weird I listen to hip hop kind of person.
Yeah, he does. That's kind of what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've spent a bunch of time in Sacramento, but he kind of gives off Sacramento vibes. I know he's coached there before.
Is he from there?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know where he's from. But yeah, no, I agree. I think like if he could dress like his personality,
he'd wear FUBU. Yeah. He'd wear the 05 jersey.
He would fucking wear FUBU. Yeah, I can't beat that. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well done, Samson. Well done.
Thank you.
But anyway, yeah, I think they messed it up. I think Nikola Jokic is like T-2 games before I get to be with my horses again. Like, I don't even I do love him, but a part of me also questions like, how much does this guy care? Like, is all of this just coming so easily to him that not that he doesn't have any work ethic, but it's like, I don't even know if basketball really is his number one passion in life. Like, I very much think for him, this is a job. And, it's like, I think he's a very family comes first, horses come second, and basketball comes third. So I think he loves his life and he's really grateful for all these things that have, all these wonderful things that have happened as a result of him being a brilliant basketball player. How much does he care? I don't know. Like, I remember last year when they won and then he's doing the press conference and then he's like, wait, I have to stay. There's a parade. Oh my God. I have to go home. And it was funny. But as a fan of basketball, I was like, I wonder how I would feel if he was my home guy. If he were a Toronto Raptor and he did that, I feel like I'd have mixed feelings about it because it's like, I want my team to be all about basketball. But maybe that's not fair. I don't know.
Did you watch The Office?
Yes.
Jim Carrey, when he's like, I got to get back to the Finger Lakes, people go missing in the Finger Lakes. That's after the championship, Nikola Jokic was like, I gotta get back. People go missing in Serbia, He has a great work-life balance, it seems.
Yes.
Which operates in stark contrast to many NBA players who have this megalomaniac, crazy competitive, basketball.
Well, or any athlete generally. Yeah.
Sure. And sometimes trying harder or wanting something more doesn't actually create the terms for that. I think now, maybe if Jokic
ask Patrick Beverley. Yeah.
Sure. Maybe if Jokic cared more about certain things, I don't know. But I think the big thing is that his effort on defense is waning. And that could just be he's tired. He's just having a bad time maybe. But the Jamal Murray two-man actions aren't working. And Jamal has been really bad. And it's true that Jokic is a guy who loves to play with teammates. It's tough to get him above 20 field goal attempts in a game. He's not really just going to let the chopper fly and boom, 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 just scoring, going for 40 or 50. That's not that common. It's more likely to get 32, 12, and 18 or something like that as he works the ball around and he makes sure they get a good look on every possession. But with the Wolves being so capable of stopping him at the point of attack, or the Wolves' point of attack, the post, or, like the elbow, they have to go elsewhere. And the shot-making creation outside of Jokic just isn't up to snuff, which is why they score 80 points in a game. And right now, I think it's that the Wolves were built almost with stopping Jokic in mind. They're huge. They're so diligent playing on defense. They communicate really well. They're very connected. That size, it bleeds into everything they do. And Anthony Edwards is taking an unbelievable star turn on the other end. Karl-Anthony Towns is having his best offensive decision-making run of play in a long time. The Wolves are in a really strong position to beat the Nuggets. And as far as what you said, you think they blew it. I think so too. I think the Wolves are going to win this series. I had said, I tweeted out, Wolves versus Denver is the NBA Finals. I think whoever wins this
I
series
agree with you on that.
Wins it all. And very pro Wolves, have been for a long time. One of the few people who really liked the Rudy Gobert trade, actually. I love the Wolves.
Retweet that from a couple of years ago.
Sure, yeah. I really love the Wolves. I didn't expect this. I don't know who would have expected 40-point wins in game 2 or something like that. The Nuggets are really up against it. How much of this relies on Nikola Jokic's work-life balance, I'm not sure. Maybe some. But yeah, just credit to the Wolves for playing awesome basketball. And Rudy for being a dad again.
I agree. I never thought I would say, I think I tweeted, I didn't think I'd see a Timberwolves championship in my lifetime, let alone this year. But yeah, I had a few thoughts here. One, I just want to clarify. I don't think the Nuggets are going to lose because Jokic cares about horses. Yeah. I just want to full disclosure. That is not why
I'm a comedian, guys. What, can nobody make a joke anymore? Yeah, you can't make jokes anymore. These kids on campus, they start booing you. You can't even do,
Yeah. You can't even be racist anymore. What the hell? I just think I look at this team, the Nuggets, and I don't see that will in them being down 0-2 to be okay, I'm going to win the next 4 in a row. You know what I mean? Like the Raptors did years ago against Milwaukee. And I believe Oklahoma City back in the day came back and won 4 in a row against San Antonio years back. It has happened. It can happen again. But the way they were so flustered in game 2, I feel like I'm just not getting that vibe from them. I'm not seeing that trajectory for them. There's a reason why everyone's kind of approaching this oh my God, the Nuggets are going to get swept, because people aren't seeing in their body language and in their connectiveness that they are actually going to come back from this. I do think long term they could come back from this adversity next season. I don't think it's over for them or anything like that. But I think this is a huge wake up call for them that they can't just keep riding it out as they have been. Jamal Murray has been struggling. I think that's a really big issue for this team. They had what I considered one of the greatest pick and roll games, we've seen. But if he's not hitting shots, they need other role players to step up here. And I don't know who that's going to be. And I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah. And that's kind of where we're at. I think also a team was Milwaukee. They lost in the finals against Phoenix. They lost the first 2 and then they won 4. But I can't think of any other lose to win 4. Yeah, remains to be seen. I watched that series with a very eager eye.
One thing I thought about too was at the very end of the regular season, Denver lost a game to the San Antonio Spurs, and they lost first place in the West. And that one game is really biting them in the ass right now. It's you kind of they did this, the thing that many a championship team does, where they kind of put their foot off the gas a little bit in the regular season. And I feel like those moments for them ended up really costing them that they're doing this in the semifinals.
They're probably kicking themselves a little bit that they're in Minnesota's bracket.
Yeah.
However, you play
You have to play everyone to win. I get that, but I'm just saying.
And if you had told them beforehand, like, you can face Minnesota in the conference finals, or you can face them in the semifinals, and Rudy Gobert is going to miss game 2, they probably take the semifinals. They're not playing good enough. And, you know, would they have a lot more wiggle room if this were Dallas? Yeah. But yeah, mostly just want to credit the Wolves. They're playing awesome basketball. And Anthony Edwards is that guy. He's the next face of the league, I think. I know Darko had an impassioned speech that it's Scottie.
Yeah.
But it's probably Anthony Edwards.
Well, okay.
He's magnetic.
I only saw so many Minnesota Timberwolves games throughout the regular season, but I feel like they have leveled up in these playoffs. Right? Like, I feel like they're even stronger now than they were a month ago or even 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like I'm watching a different team somehow. And I don't know how.
They were in the bottom half of offensive rating in the regular season, and they're the number 1 offense in the playoffs. Crazy.
Right. Huge. So it's like, what clicked? Like, what changed? Like, I don't know. I suppose maybe it doesn't matter, but I would just be interested to figure that out, because to me, it's quite astonishing to the degree that they've leveled up in these playoffs. Like you said, I don't think anyone saw this coming. You know, you're going to see a screenshot of some insane rich person who bet a lot of money on this team, and he's probably just like a rich homer or whatever, but truly, like, no one really saw this coming.
Yeah, I think it's mostly due to better decision making from Karl-Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards, and that means that Karl-Anthony Towns is playing with a bit more decision-making prowess, in that, like, he's making quicker decisions, and he's not doing as much catch and hold stuff. He's more quick on the trigger, which means he's getting himself into less trouble. And Anthony Edwards is probing a little bit longer than usual and using it to create better playmaking avenues for his teammates. And Mike Conley has been really good too. So all that stuff coalescing makes for just a very, very strong team, especially considering their defense. And Jaden McDaniels, the famous Anthony Edwards quote. Yeah, they got Kevin Durant, but we got Jaden McDaniels. So, you know.
I mean, is the NBA turning into the NCAA where they just become impossible to predict?
It's getting harder.
Right? Because, like, we haven't had a repeat champion since the Durant Warriors.
Yes. This will be if...
And I'm already assuming Denver's not repeating, which is like maybe somewhat insulting, but
if Minnesota or like Boston or Dallas or OKC or whoever, I guess Knicks, Pacers, whoever's left, if it's not Denver, this will be the second time in NBA history that in 6 years you get 6 different champions. And even in that 6-year stretch from what's like 1974, way back then, Boston was like 1-7. So there's a repeat on top of it. Just the high quality aspect of role players having, like, some of them have star skill sets, and stars are able to do so much with the ball now that it creates a wider array of outcomes. And then you also have the salary cap implications, which makes it harder to keep guys and build teams and all that kind of stuff. It's flattening the league, and I think it's awesome. It's hard to predict this stuff, and I think I know from a viewership standpoint, I think it's better technically for Titans to dominate it, which is why, like, Cavs and Warriors going back and forth against each other was really good for the ratings, because to people who don't watch, it's like, oh, I know those teams. The same way if you don't watch, you know, soccer or football, you can see Real Madrid and Barcelona. And for a while that meant like, oh, I'm watching Ronaldo and Messi. And you didn't care that Atletico Madrid had like Antoine Griezmann and Oblak, and they were like a really good team. I was like, who cares? But to me, the flattening of the league rocks. Very good. Very cool.
Yeah, I agree. I thought when Durant joined the Warriors, I mean, a lot's been said about it, but from a fan perspective, I thought it was bad for the league, because I'm like, am I supposed to watch a whole season of people just competing for second place?
They're a good team. Oh, they were so good.
They were so good. And I do enjoy the Warriors, but I was just like, when you take that much of the competitive balance out of the equation, like, you know, it's kind of like, all right, when
almost beat them. They were 27 missing. They were so close. Chris Paul and Harden almost took them down.
That's got to be a future 30 for 30.
Oh yeah, that Rockets team 100%. I think looking back at it, I'm glad it happened. It was a little frustrating to watch at the time, but
yeah,
the level of basketball that was played, like to me, that's the best basketball team I've ever seen.
It would be so crazy if Kevin Durant wasn't a champion. Like, it would just be so weird. I feel.
Yeah, it would be
now I feel like I kind of want him to join the Warriors again. I don't think they could possibly make that happen, but I feel like, oh, that would actually be wonderful.
You know, people are cooking up like LeBron to Warriors stuff because he's a free agent.
I would hate that.
There you go.
Would you hate that? Would you love that?
I don't really care. I think it would be interesting to see LeBron and Curry play together. But as far as like, I don't think that makes the league unfair. I don't think that's a guaranteed championship team.
No, not at all.
So I think from a storyline perspective, it's pretty interesting.
From a storyline perspective, it's interesting. I think
with play style.
LeBron, I feel like LeBron's a really high risk at this stage of his career because of his age. It's like he's been healthy for so long, but it's like, I don't know. To me, it's like, I don't want to say this out loud because I don't want to manifest it, but I just feel this like Kobe Bryant torn Achilles moment could happen for LeBron. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he can play to this age and then just like gracefully. I mean, I want that for him, but I just feel like we've never seen it before. We've just never seen it before. But he's done tons of stuff we've never seen before. So I don't know.
He's never had an injury like that in his whole career. Yeah, he's had like back spasms. He's had like cumulative load stuff. He's been sore in places. But as far as like a torn ligament somewhere, or I feel like that's not gonna happen. So
I hope so. I hope so. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm very, very wrong.
Me too.
All right.
How dare you manifest such things?
I didn't manifest. I said I don't want to manifest. Oh God. All right. People can hate me in the comments. It's fine. I could see why they only listen when you're on. Okay.
Yeah, you tune into a regular buckets and tea show and it's like wait.
Listen, people
like everything's darker and you're like Samu Namu Ka. You're like casting spells on NBA players.
That's a Patreon exclusive. So you have to pay to see me cast spells on players. Yeah. All right. I want to talk about Knicks Pacers. Of course, you know, Raptors homers are invested and torn. And so I wanted to ask you, everyone wants to know, Samson, are you team OG Anunoby or are you team Pascal Siakam in this series?
So I've been covering the Pacers playoffs with Caitlin Cooper to this point. I feel pretty safe thinking that nobody who is paying attention to my Pacers coverage is listening to this. The Knicks are a much cooler team. The Knicks are a much cooler team.
They are.
The Knicks are probably going to win this. They're up 2-0. I had said before in the preview we did with Benji as well from New York was like, this is the Knicks series. The Pacers really have to be like tremendous to try and.
Well, they're also falling apart. Like the Knicks are absolutely falling apart.
But the Pacers have never been together. So I think the Knicks are a cooler team. I hope OG is healthy as soon as possible. And I think the Knicks would be a much more fun matchup against one of the Celtics or the Cavs.
I mean, I think that the Knicks could be the coolest team.
I would have picked them to win the championship or go to the finals at the very least if they had been healthy. That was a take I was cooking up in the regular season. Then Julius, he tore his labrum.
Yeah, and then also OG is out with a hamstring injury, and I believe Brunson is questionable for game 3. But look, I agree. The Knicks are the cooler team, and I feel like if they are healthy enough, they would give the Celtics a stronger fight. Although, okay, I missed game 2 with the Cavs. I don't know if you saw it. What the hell happened?
A lot of threes.
They
And
just hit a lot of threes?
Yeah, the Cavs banged in like a crazy amount of threes.
Because I saw the score and I just assumed it was the other way around, which is very disrespectful, but that's what I did. And then I was like, wait, what?
Well, you know, the Celtics are kind of a feast or famine offense as well. And they can be kind of rote in how they create looks and a little bit boring. So that's kind of like where I'm at with it. Just as it like the Cavs shot 55% from the field, they shot 46% from 3. They scored 118 points. And quite frankly, Evan Mobley, who's been getting shit on a lot, played like unbelievable defense and is a real cog in how the Cavs want to stop the initiation of the Celtics. So they played awesome basketball, and I'm really interested in that series going forward too. But yeah, it's Knicks over Pacers. Like the Pacers would have to be much better.
I am so here for a Cavs upset.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, if they upset the Celtics,
suck, man.
This would be this is like we are in full NCAA territory if the Cavs upset the Celtics. Like, this is truly like no one can predict territory. Like, that would be unreal. I would absolutely love that.
I like a lot of the players on the Celtics. I'm just like, they do not play compelling basketball to me. I had this conversation with Caitlin a little bit where she was like, their defense rocks. They do a lot of interesting stuff on defense. I agree. It's just they're so boring on offense. They're so boring on offense. They play such boring basketball. So, I don't know. And Derek White isn't he had 10 points instead of like 28, which is he's been unbelievable lately since he shaved the dome. And yeah, I don't know. I hope the Cavs win it. And if the Cavs don't win it, I hope whoever comes out of the Knicks Pacers beats the Celtics. And if they don't beat the Celtics, I hope whoever comes out of the West beats the Celtics.
Oh, they're not. I don't think the Celtics are winning a championship.
I don't think so either.
I don't think. Yeah, I mean, if it's Minnesota or honestly anyone I don't think they're beating anyone out of the West. I really don't. Going back to the Knicks. So there's been a lot of talk about Tibs running these guys into the ground.
Did you see my meme?
I did not see your meme.
I crafted
a whole meme.
Yeah, I crafted a meme. You know those like doctors hate them because of the one quick trick meme? You know, like this? Oh, you can't see it. Doctors hate them.
Yeah, I can see that, but I can't see the smaller
timeout after review, big rest. Game hasn't started, nice rest. Quarter break, sick rest, bro. Spacing to the corner, rest. Free throws, nice rest, pal. Setting a screen, a tidy little rest. Learn the truth now. Doctors hate them because of this one weird trick.
Oh my God, that's a very good meme.
Yeah,
it's a you original.
Yeah, I would.
Congratulations.
I'd never steal a
meme creator Samson Folk. So Josh Hart was doing an interview, like, post-game interview in the locker room, and somebody asked him how he feels about playing the whole game. Apparently he didn't go to the bench once. He played 48 minutes. Twice. And so he was asked about that. Josh Hart literally started quoting Bible verses.
Yep.
The man's quoting Bible verses in response to playing a full 48 minutes. Look, like, I love this team. I think they're brilliant. They're so fun to watch. I love everything about them, but Tibs is running this team into the ground. And it's like, okay, if you have championship aspirations, you need something left. Like, you got 2 more rounds after this. Like, you need something left. And he's not giving his team an opportunity to have something left, I feel. I don't know if you agree.
I am the way and the truth and the life. Nobody comes to me except through 48 minutes of basketball. I don't know. It's hard to believe that the Knicks are able to do that, specifically some players on the Knicks. Like, DiVincenzo isn't playing 48 like Hart, but he's typically playing like 43 or 45. Brunson is usually playing around like 42. I don't know how they do it, because even if you look at the offensive rebounding rates in the second half, the Knicks are like bludgeoning the Pacers. The Pacers have done pretty well in the first half of both game 1 and game 2 to keep them off the glass, but the Knicks just keep pushing. And you'd think they couldn't, because you think you'd hit a point of diminishing returns with the stamina, and they just don't. It's like the wall doesn't exist. It blows my mind. Josh Hart, I am 6 years deep of saying like, oh, I want Josh Hart on the Raptors. He's one of the most perfect players in the NBA. It doesn't mean he's the best. He's just perfect at what he does and how he plays. Same with Jalen Williams on the Thunder. Some guys play perfect basketball relative to their skill sets. Josh Hart's one of those guys. Jalen Williams is one of those guys. Man, that's why this Knicks team rocks though. They do that poll, and like 50% of the players who are polled, they're like, I do not want to play for Tom Thibodeau. And all those Villanova guys are like, don't take me off, coach. I got more in the tank. They start quoting Bible scripture. They're a crazy team, but they rock.
Yeah, I think like I don't think the door is completely closed for the Pacers in this series. I would not be surprised if this series went deep, because the Pacers aren't going to burn out the way the Knicks are currently burning out. Especially like, I could see them resting Brunson for game 3, especially because they're up 2-0. It's like, why risk it if he's injured or like, half injured, so to speak. But yeah, and both these games are really close. I mean, even in the 76er series, every game was super close. It's hard to have that kind of stamina going all the way into a finals. It's possible. It's just really, really hard. And I am concerned, is all I'm saying.
Have you considered that they are built different? Has this crossed your mind? Because that may very well be the case.
That they're just living off of New York bagels, and New York bagels are just different.
Yeah.
Pizza,
bacon, egg, and
cheese, deli meats,
man.
deli sandwiches. That's what
I
associate with oh yeah, in the bodega, yeah. Chopped cheese. Living off of chopped
the Aki
cheese.
way, I believe they say.
You have to wear your glasses for that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now we know your Team OG. Pascal lovers, at him in the comments. So your predictions are the Knicks are going to come out on top of this.
Yeah.
Now we're twinning even more now that you've added the glasses.
Yeah. I feel like,
are those real glasses? Do you have prescription glasses?
I do, yeah. Actually,
but you never wear them? You wear contacts? What do you do?
I never wear contacts. I just got glasses this year. So I actually bought these for like going to games, because you have to sit in the media section and watch the game. And I was realizing that I was watching players based on like their movement patterns, mostly because even if I can't see the number on the back, I can tell who a player is based on how they move. And I was like, this isn't the best way to watch basketball. No. So I needed glasses, but I need to wear them more often or get contacts. I feel like Stanley Tucci right now, which he is my king. He's the GOAT. So
yeah, not a bad look at all.
Yeah.
I actually, when I was a teenager, I was at a Raptors game, and that was when I noticed I needed glasses, because I was up in the, Sprite Zone or whatever the hell, Twins. That's when I realized I needed glasses. But yeah. And then, you know what? I wear them all the time because I like glasses. I just feel like
you have cool glasses.
Thank you.
Mine are like not that cool. They're just regular glasses, but you got the big glasses. I love when people go big with the glasses. Like Quinn Snyder going with those snappy red frames was pretty cool. He still looks like he fucking rails lines of coke before the game, but at least he has cool. At least he has cool glasses, and but yeah, he's got a crazy story, eh? The Linus Kleza story with Quinn Snyder.
I don't know this story.
Really?
No. Share.
Wait.
Share.
No, I feel like this is a story I'm
off the pod.
I'll just say, like, Google it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Buckets and Tea After Dark special coming soon. Okay. Frank Vogel is fired. I try to coin the term a scapegoat gate, because every coach is a scapegoat for the failures of their team. Mike Budenholzer is already a front runner, and it is being projected that he will be hired as the replacement. There's only 2 of us, Samson. You don't need to raise your hand.
Did you think maybe Scapegate worked better than Scapegoat Gate?
Scapegate. Okay. Yeah. I didn't workshop it.
Okay, well, that lets me know how much effort you're putting into this itinerary.
That I wrote at like midnight last night
Yeah.
after I went to see an orchestra quartet last night.
Was it the like the one with Homer Simpson and Barney Stinson and all those guys?
I wish.
Mm.
This was a very pretentious crowd.
Oh.
It was at Corner Hall, you know, the Royal Conservatory of Music. It was very nice. It was a very nice evening. It was very uppity.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Frank Vogel out, another scapegoat. Budenholzer likely in. Okay, I want to ask you how you feel about this pending Budenholzer hire. Also, I want stats on how many times a coach gets fired on a Thursday or a Friday, because I feel like many coaches get fired when I record a podcast. And this news came out yesterday at 4 p.m., which is usually my regular time for recording this podcast. Multiple coaches have been fired while I record or as the episode is being released. So I do feel like there's a correlation. I'd love stats on this. But regardless of that, I want to know how you feel about the fit with Budenholzer in Phoenix. And then I want to know how you feel about the culture in general of coaches being scapegoats.
So I think there's a good chance that the teams are noticing that you're going to record and want to get it out in time for your recording. I think that might be the way that it's connected. That might be the correlation.
Yeah.
There's a self-selecting thing there.
Mm-hmm,
Then how will Budenholzer fit? I think Budenholzer will fit well. I think Coach Bud is a good coach. I wasn't nearly as big on the like, he doesn't know how to make adjustments. He sucks ass. Like, no, like Coach Bud is a really good coach. He took a year off and, God bless him, but I think he's very good at what he does. Do I think that it's a toxic, like DeJounte Murray is like, damn, they're blaming the coaches before the players, his tweet said or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that coaches get more credit than they deserve when teams play well, and they get more shit than they deserve when teams underperform or play bad. The players play the game sometimes because it's harder, because you sound like an idiot sometimes when you're analyzing basketball and you say,
me? No,
not you.
Just kidding.
One sounds like an idiot sometimes when one analyzes basketball and says, make shots. It's like, well, damn, they're trying. You can sound a little bit more if you say, like, why doesn't the coach fix the team? Do better, coach. And it's like, well, sometimes the coach is coaching the worst team.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the better team is just going to beat you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can finagle things. You can make as many adjustments as you want. Sometimes you're just not going to win. And I think...
sometimes you're just getting outplayed is what you're saying.
Yeah, and if a coach gets fired, I think a lot more times it's more so about interpersonal stuff and like maybe losing the locker room or something like that, rather than a lot of people are like, this coach is such a dumbass. He didn't play this lineup I found on Queen of the Glass that wins its 112 possessions by 4.6 points. And it's like, well, I'm sure they considered that. They consider more things than you consider. But yeah, I think it's interpersonal most of the time, which is obviously not super accessible to fans. But I think coaches, they just get blamed for a lot of failures that I think sometimes you're just not the better team. Like the front office has to do a better job of building a good team. And then the coach can like help elevate that based on play style. But that's also hand in hand with the front office too. The front office, the NBA is so convoluted now. We talked about how it's being flattened. There are so many different play styles. There's so many different approaches. And team building is so fine-tuned now and has to be because of all the constraints and because so many players do so many different things, that the front office has to be building a team in mind with the coach. And sometimes the front office doesn't really meet that, like, their end of the bargain either. Sometimes the coach doesn't, but yeah, I think coaches get probably a little bit too much blame as far as like a toxic culture. Nah, because they're about to go on like paid leave. Guaranteed contracts. Hey man, you can fire whoever you want. You know.
I mean, I look forward to the. I mean, I've said this on this pod before, but I look forward to the Milwaukee Bucks having a fourth coach on their payroll.
Adrian Griffin, it was very easy to tell that wasn't going to go well.
Well, at what point did you realize that wasn't going to go well?
When Adrian Griffin was an assistant coach on the Toronto Raptors.
Whoa! Explain yourself, please.
Adrian is a unique guy, and it was easy to tell in the same way that Nick Nurse has disaffected many people in the past. Adrian is cut from the same cloth, and it was pretty clear to me that he didn't have the same type of like X's and O's prowess. And so Nick Nurse he really is like one of the best tacticians in the NBA. And he's also like very hard on players, a lot. And if you're one of those things and not the other, it's kind of tough. It's easy to see how you're going to lose a locker room really quickly. The exact same thing happened with Nate Bjorkgren as well. The Nick Nurse coaching tree, Chris Finch is the one branch that is alive, but it's perhaps it's a bit harsh. I'm not so sure players respond to it as well as people might expect. And Darko, for example, is a complete change of pace to that. But yeah.
Yeah, it feels kind of generational to me, like in terms of that approach, like that more militant approach feels like it belongs in a different era, if that makes sense.
Well, like Greg Popovich isn't known and stopped being known as a militant guy, and was probably understood to be more militant than he was because he actually had a military background. Greg Popovich has been lauded constantly for his soft skills in how he treats players, in how he humanizes them constantly, befriends them, mentors them, all that kind of stuff. Like Eric Spoelstra, like, yeah, they do like heat culture and all that, but some of it is militant and some of it is just like, there's a lot of ego for NBA players. There's a lot of ego for NBA coaches. When you have a lot of ego in the room, sometimes your own ego death is the best way to navigate situations. To be egoless in a room full of that, you can still command respect that way. Sometimes it isn't being like, I'm the top dog, like roo type of rah environment. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Now I'm saying like, this, I wouldn't know how to strike the balance as a coach either. It's not an easy job, but some people come to it much more naturally. And having your star players be more amenable to a certain type of way also sets you up for success too.
I feel like that's the thing that Phil Jackson was really good at. You know what I mean? Like the ego death thing, like studying narcissism and studying psychology and all these different ways to figure out how to like connect with these guys. And, you know, like you have like Shaq on TNT being like, I never needed a coach. I never won because of a coach. And I just feel like there were coaches in his life like planting seeds and then he didn't realize where they came from. Inception. If that makes sense. Yeah, literally. I think that is kind of how it went. Okay. Interesting stuff there. Did you see Pat Riley comment about Jimmy Butler?
Yeah.
Do you have thoughts on that? I just thought of that now.
I think I also watched Glory Road recently. So I watched David Lattin dunk on young Pat Riley in that game. Pat Riley, I think, is exercising a belief that I agree with. Like, when you get down to brass tacks, should anyone care what Jimmy Butler is saying? No, because he didn't play. And like anyone can say anything like, oh, we would have won X or Y. Did you? No. Who cares? I hate revisionist history on lost playoff series or lost finals or what. Well, they would have won if X or Y. Did they? No. Okay, the hypotheticals are done.
Mm-hmm,
I hate that kind of stuff. However, Jimmy is a troll. And this is a guy who was in a Fall Out Boy video. This is a guy who shows up with eyebrow piercings, the
different
Karen
hairstyles, yeah.
bob, and it's hard to take it serious. If I were Pat Riley, I would have been like, Jimmy, why do you do this? But that would have been between Jimmy and I. As far as openly lambasting or lambasting, I don't know how you say it, Jimmy in public, I don't get that really.
Mm-hmm. No,
But
I'm
again,
with
I've
you.
never had a job where I have to where I would forego an interpersonal conversation to say it to media. Nobody gives a shit what I think. If I
Well, they
was,
would in that position. First of all, people do care what you think, and I think we've established that
stop
already
this.
on this podcast.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I don't really know how to navigate that stuff. My sense is I would not do it the way that Pat Riley did, even if I agree with what he's saying.
For the record, Samson gets really uncomfortable when you give him compliments, so highly recommend. Okay, let's move on to our Raptors homer moment. Not a ton going on with the Raptors right now, but at least this week when I Googled Raptors news, I didn't get actual animal news, which happened to be last week, which was brutal.
What happened? What was the Raptors news?
It was just like some bird of prey that is referred to as a raptor was what was it, like they're going to like some zoo or something. It was like in the UK or something. I don't remember now.
There are raptors alive right now.
There's a type of bird that is referred to as a quote raptor. It's like,
Is this stolen valor? Is it do you see a picture of it?
No, I'll try and find it again and I'll send it to you.
Would it have fit in Jurassic Park is what I'm wondering. And I know Jurassic Park isn't real.
No, it looks more like an eagle, but
I
it's
follow
predatory.
an account on Twitter that does what they deem to be realistic drawings of what a tyrannosaur would look like or raptors would look like. They're far more birdy, you know?
Yeah, because we found out they have feathers, and now people are saying no, they actually didn't have feathers. I'm not up on my dinosaur news.
Yeah.
Are you? I actually thought I should do like an off-season full dinosaur podcast.
Yeah, we can do that.
Why
Raptor
not?
birds. I just Googled that.
Yeah.
It says bird of prey, falcon, owl, Accipitridae,
there you go.
Falconiformis, peregrine falcon. Wait, so are we trying to suggest so birds of prey or predatory birds, also known as raptors, are hypercarnivorous bird species that actively hunt and feed on other vertebrates in addition. So wait, we're just saying that an owl is a raptor? What the hell is this?
I'm not a scientist.
No, sorry. When I say we as a species,
I don't know.
This is not okay to me. You can't just call that a raptor. I watched not Sam Elliott, Sam, the other Sam actor from Jurassic Park, Sam Neill. Sam Neill.
I don't know, man.
I think his name, Sam Neill. I saw him talk about raptors as a kid in Jurassic Park, and you're going to tell me that I have to hold that same reverence for an owl? Especially after what has happened between Kendrick and Drake, I have to revere the owl? No, sir. Not a chance.
Okay, look, we should do a whole off-season thing about it. We could really dive into this and have some raptor related fun, I guess. The news that I wanted to share is that DeMar DeRozan is writing a quote tell-all book, which is obviously going to include a lot of his time with the Raptors. So Samson, my question to you is, what is the one thing you hope he will reveal in this tell-all book?
This is interesting because DeMar he's told more of his story than a lot of people have, and he's been more vulnerable and open with his story than a lot of people have to this point. So while he is obviously going to reveal many things, I wonder what it would be like. I mostly am just hoping for some endearing and fun anecdotes about his time as an NBA player, and perhaps more about his childhood and kind of the intrigue in how he was made into the man that he is, because I think to a lot of people, he is a good man and is seen as such, and carries himself in a certain way. How he came to be should be quite interesting. But yeah, obviously we're gonna see it. People are gonna be like taking screenshots of his book and posting on Twitter. There's gonna be a million like funny or like interesting anecdotes that come out of it. So just cool. DeMar is my favorite player of all time. Huge DeMar DeRozan
Favorite
fan.
Raptor player or just favorite player?
Favorite player. He's been my favorite player forever. So just, yeah, I'll be reading.
I want the locker room goss, like I want the, who did he like? Who
You're
did he
so
not like?
messy.
Who did he hang out with? Who was he like? I can't wait for this guy to go. I don't think he's gonna be that person, but that I would live for that. I'd live for that.
It would be really funny if he was like, this fucking bitch.
If he was like Rudy Gay sucks. Like if he was just like, that is my least favorite. They played together, right? I'm not.
Yeah. Rudy called him the best two guard he's ever played with in his career when they played. They were very complimentary.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, stuff like that would be fun. I made fun of Amir Johnson when he did the zombie walk,
Yeah.
who knows? That's the kind of stuff I want. Okay. Raptors. Let's do our hottie highlight of the week. Samson, I've started giving people a choice. I should have given you the DeMar DeRozan book thing as a choice, but I thought it would be funny. Actually, this is sort of a tougher choice. We had a few hottie highlight moments this week. It is between Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly, and Grady Dick doing their TikTok in the locker room, showing us that they're working together in the off season, having fun, but also probably working hard, being together as teammates. Or is it Darko and his wife Gaga donating, I think it was like $47 million to various hospitals, both in Canada and in Serbia. I'm like, how dare I make you choose between those two things?
It's definitely like it's Darko and Gaga. That much is known. One is a TikTok, others is like life-saving money to children's hospitals. However, I'm glad the boys are working out together. I do feel compelled to make a Gaga joke. I like some of the Gaga songs. What the fuck does she know about assists? You know that clip?
No.
You never saw that?
No.
That's Kanye in an interview. Now, this is old Kanye before neo-Nazi Kanye, just as mentioned.
Okay.
But he was being interviewed, and Lady Gaga had been appointed the creative director of Polaroid. And he says, she's the creative director of Polaroid. He's like, I like some of the Gaga songs. What the fuck does she know about cameras? And it's like, obviously, it's pretty great.
I love Lady Gaga. Big fan.
Huge talent.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good for you for making the correct moral choice. Well done, I suppose. It's hard, I like giving people the choice because it's like silly and it's fun, but also it's like that was so ridiculous. Like, how could I mean, it's also like Darko and his wife donating this money. It's not like a topic because it's like, oh, that's so wonderful. It's just good news. It's just great. It's not like there's no debate to be had.
I will say now, Grady, Scotty, Emmanuel, handsome young men. Good for them. Hotties, the lot of them.
Sure.
However, usually when you hear about philanthropy, it is truly like a drop in the bucket. This was a meaningful amount of money relative to how much Darko makes.
Yeah.
This is a lot. This is a huge deal. Credit to Darko and Gaga, because when you're in a position to help people, when you're in a position to give, and you do that, to me, That kicks ass. To me, that's so hot.
You know, I've noticed that now that I'm giving my guests the choice, they are taking the segment more seriously, and that's important.
Yeah. Wait, have I not taken this seriously in the past?
No, I think you have, but I
Yeah.
feel like, you know,
Other
it's like
guests.
you're
Worse
thinking like you're
guests.
thinking about it more.
Would you, can I ask you, not a hottie highlight of the week, would you power rank your guests?
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I would
Rank.
never.
I'll rank mine.
Okay,
Blake at the
you
bottom.
rank your guests.
Blake at the very bottom.
Sure.
Next to him,
Only
Lewis.
your mentor. This is like a reverse ranking.
Blake hasn't taught me anything. Sure, I lived with him for a bit, but I didn't learn anything while I was there. Yeah. That'd be funny though. If you like,
if I ranked my guests?
yeah, you're like, it's performance review, end of the season. Some of you did well, some not so well. Like next, you're like, next year, try and bring a little bit more vigor to it.
No, I appreciate everyone who's been on this show. I feel like in terms of, no, I really do. Cause I mean, I'm building, I'm growing,
You're linking, building.
Yeah, like I'm doing all of that. So, I feel like all these, Raptor media people are far superior in the scene. I mean, I do other things, of course, but like they are. And so
Never
it's like,
say far superior again.
well, they have like
life.
it's what they do, it's what you do full time. Where I'm like a screenwriter and I'm do all these other things, like I'm doing stand-up, like I do all these other things.
You're naming more impressive things.
That's not true.
No, that is true. No, that's true. I promise you.
You all have this thing called stability, which is nice.
You think there's now, I don't want to get into like who's more or less stable, but I think we can both agree that neither is stable.
No, they're not stable, but
if only we could get an email job, where you buy the like electronic mouse mover that shows that you're like active on Microsoft Teams, but you just like fuck off and do something else. And then you're just like, ChatGPT answers all my emails for me.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
do pottery. Oh yeah, big time.
You would do pottery if you didn't have to work?
I don't want to work. I just want to bang on this mug all day. Yeah, I don't know what I would do. What would I do if I didn't have to work? I really
run more marathons.
Maybe I would get into woodworking.
Yeah.
I'd make like a flute or an ocarina, and then I'd play it. It'd be cool, something like that. What would you do if you didn't have to work?
Well, I reupholster furniture as a hobby.
Are you for real?
Yeah.
That's so cool. Do you do clothes as well?
I don't do clothes.
You should get into clothes.
I should get into clothes. I have thought about it, but yeah, I reupholster furniture and I would do that on a larger scale. It's hard because it's like I just have my apartment, but my dream would be like if I had like my own like garage or something that I could work out of, and then I could do larger scale things. But I'm a very creative weirdo person. Like I like picking out different fabrics and different patterns, like things that I don't think most people would be gravitated towards. But
if you ever make like a cool jacket, hit me up. If you ever go the clothing route,
sure,
and you start making stuff, I'll buy stuff from you.
Okay.
Also, if you make cool furniture, if you save a cool piece of furniture, send me a picture.
Well, my next chair that I'm doing, like I've run out of furniture that I need, so I will be selling my projects because I just don't have space for it. So my next chair, you'll see if you need a single chair.
Hit my line.
It's like this weird like 1920s like Art Deco like people golfing pattern. And it's like purplish and a little greenish. It's like very unique. I don't know if anyone will want this chair, but I do it for me, because it's a hobby. It's not what I do for a living.
It's really important not to like turn your hobbies into money making all the time.
Yeah, which I'm very guilty of. I've literally done that to my whole life. But the chairs are just like the reupholstering is just for fun, but I would do it more if I didn't have to actually like earn money and I could just design furniture the way I envision it.
It's cool. I went to IKEA for the first time in my life, like a couple weeks ago. And I was like, furniture is kind of cool. I'm a fan of it. I bought a cool lamp from their 1960s collection. And I was like,
Yeah.
neat. Yeah. You want to see it?
Yes, I do want to see it. Okay. Yes. Very nice.
Is it plugged in? 1 second.
Okay. There you go. More ghost stories.
Yeah. Well,
Very
it's
nice.
kind of neat.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like this.
This, I don't know if you can see the giant lamp behind me. It's very fun, but it's annoying because it's 5 bulbs. So it's like I'm always replacing the light bulbs in it, but I do enjoy it.
I wonder if anybody will be skipping through the podcast, like, and will wonder what this freeze frame is.
Well, we'll have to find out. We'll have to find out. To all the Samson fans,
don't do this.
Who tuned in.
Don't do this.
I genuinely, look, I very much appreciate everyone who listens and tunes into this podcast. I appreciate you all so much. We are coming a little late on Friday afternoon instead of Friday morning. I do have a friend who listens to this. Shout out to Brittany, where I let her know in advance. It was like, I hope this doesn't disturb your daily routine, because her podcast listening is a part of her routine. But I genuinely appreciate you all. And we are growing, which I appreciate. And even though, the Raptors didn't have the best season, you're all, those of you who are sticking it out with me, thank you very much. And those who tuned in because Samson's here, I hope you stay. Samson, do you have anything to say? What do you have going on this summer?
I really don't know.
Are you traveling?
I don't know.
Are you going to Summer League?
I don't know, actually. I don't know. I don't know anything. The only thing I know I'm doing this summer is like just going for walks and listening to Buckets and Tea while I do so in the sun. That's all I know.
Well, you can do that, because I've told the listeners I am gonna record throughout the summer. I have taken summers off in the past, but there's an Olympic year, and I just feel like there's going to be a lot of content, so might as well keep doing it. And
You're meeting the moment.
Yeah, and I don't anticipate traveling myself, so might as well.
Yeah. My brother asked me to go to Ireland with him, but I gotta figure out if I can afford that. It'd be cool to go to Ireland, though. Oh, to see the homeland, see where I come from. I don't know why I'm doing this.
Are you Irish?
Listen, it's a bit too much information.
No, it isn't.
So, anyway, I'm going to listen to a lot of your podcast as I walk around.
Good.
And that's what I'm looking forward to this summer.
You could listen to me in Ireland with your brother.
That would be cool. And I'll make him listen too.
Yeah.
And
then you'd be like, this girl is way too nasally for me. I don't know. I'm also bad with compliments. That's the thing.
You just started insulting yourself openly. That's not even you did the complete inverse. Okay,
I do that all the time.
Why? Let's get into this. Actually, let's dig in.
Why do I insult? Why do I have self-deprecating humor?
What? If you could rate your self-worth on a scale of 1 to 10, what are we sitting at?
Working on it. I'm working on it. Yeah.
Nice.
Is that bad? Is that,
no, it's good to work on things. It's good to work on things.
Yeah. But it is like, I don't know. It's like a defense thing in a way, self-deprecating humor.
You're like, I'm going to say I have a nasally voice. So
if I put myself down, then you can't do it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing,
Tyrion Lannister. He's like, the world knows what you are. Certainly you do. Wear it like armor. Nobody can pierce it but you.
Maybe one day I'll do a whole episode just on my issues.
Buckets and me. Yeah.
Buckets and me. It's just me in a bucket.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Just crawling out.
A bucket of your own emotions.
Crawling out with my little chakras and who knows what else. Trying to whatever. I'm perpetually in therapy. It's fine. All right, we should probably wrap it up there before we dive into my psychology. Samson, thank you so much for joining me. I'm sure you'll do something at some point on here in the summer. Are you going to do like a draft reaction or anything like that? The draft lottery's on Sunday.
I'm doing a draft lottery live stream, I think, and I'm assuming that there'll be a draft party. I'm assuming Raptors Republic will put on a draft party.
Yeah,
I'll probably do a live podcast from there. So
I'll try not to be drunk this time.
No, I think that elevates it, right? That's what the people want to see.
Honestly, yeah, that's probably true. In which case, I will enjoy a few beverages. Okay. Great seeing you. Thank you again for twinning with me. Thank you everyone for listening and tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.